So, Coley, tell us why being gay is wrong.
Gay is natural. We observe same-sex intercourse in over 3,000 animal species. Bonobos are a great ape species. We observe same-gender intercourse within their species all of the time. We also see that 10% of moose will exclusively engage in same-sex intercourse and will actually refuse to engage in opposite-sex intercourse. We've also seen lifelong same-sex penguin couples who actually adopt younger penguins and raise them as their own.
Firstly, it's just ridiculous to try to rationalize human behavior based off what animals do in the wild. Many species of animals participate in cannibalism. Others participate in stealing food from one another. There's even certain type of ants that will raid other colonies and steal their larvae to bring it back to their colonies to then raise the ants to make them work for them.
If your objective was to demonstrate how we're superior to other animal species, you could not have picked the worst examples because those are all things that human beings have done a lot. Cannibalism, stealing food from others, kidnapping and enslaving other tribes. I mean, you pretty much just described the vast majority of human history. So, what's actually ridiculous is insinuating that human behavior is completely divorced from the rest of the animal kingdom, which we are a part of, by the way. These oversized, calorie guzzling brains that turned us into talking apes do not exempt us from animal status. We still do all the things they do: breathe, consume, excrete, sleep, and fornicate, pretty much the same way every other mammal does.
But the main problem here is his misunderstanding of the term natural. Our bodies are not designed to have same sex intercourse.
Then why is your G spot located inside your rectum? To put it delicately, you will never be able to stimulate it through heterosexual intercourse alone. That requires something gay.
You have to reject your natural design in order to engage in it.
So, what exactly is your definition of natural? Because the actual definition is anything that happens in nature. And Dean pointed out all these examples of other animals in the wild doing gay stuff, which proves that homosexuality is natural. Natural is a neutral term. It does not imply something bad or good. It's not necessarily an endorsement or condemnation. It simply is something that occurs in nature. The point that he was making was that freaks like you keep trying to frame same sex intercourse as some weird human invention, but it's not. The act is exhibited in other species, and the urge is inborn. In other words, natural.
Our bodies, I don't know how to say this, is made for opposite sex intercourse so that a man and a woman can come together and produce offspring.
And I don't know why I have to say this, but you should already know that mammalian sex, especially among primates and certain marine mammals, is often undertaken for pleasure. Reproduction sometimes being the result, but not specifically the goal. Now, if you're going to keep crowing about the natural use of your undercarriage, you're going to end up running defense every time because that one body part that you seem so focused on but won't name, the one that you believe has no natural part to play in sex, has specific nerve endings that have no function in its more typical use. So, what's the natural point of that? And while you're pondering that, explain why the very natural clitoris, which is the wellspring of female sexual pleasure, is located outside of the vagina and therefore plays no part in reproduction, requires no penetration, nor does it need a phallus in order to be stimulated.
Because our desires do not define what is right or wrong or good or bad. If I had a biological predisposition to go around and punch people randomly in the face every time I felt like it and I just couldn't control it because I always had this desire,
Stop. No false equivalency. Explain how getting groiny with someone who has the same fun parts as you is comparable to punching someone in the face. When judging whether or not something is right or wrong, it really comes down to whether or not you're causing unnecessary harm. If you think same sex intercourse is harmful, then you need to explain why, and then follow it up with how heterosexual intercourse is, in turn, not harmful by comparison. Because I can tell you this: penetrating an orifice and the exchange of bodily fluids always comes with risk. Which brings me to my next point. You are a man. And because you are a man, you have a specific handicap that inflicts most men. You assume that intercourse requires one of you, or at least a stand in for you. That's not entirely your fault. Much of what it means to be a man includes more presumptions than anyone could count. And I'm saying this because you seem to have forgotten that there's one kind of gay sex that has virtually none of the harm that you're implying. Lesbian sex has the least amount of risk of injury and the lowest statistics of STIs. What I'm saying, Coley, is nature has spoken. The superior form of human copulation does not involve your kind. Happy Pride, everyone.